what is a good mesh? I gave you this problem. You have a solid, on one side it's fixed, on the other side it's a force. And the first mesh I do meshing like I proposed to you, automatically 80-50-0. I get this mesh. It's not such a bad mesh as you see. It's around the holes, or this radius is a little bit smaller, and here it's quite large. I let run the analysis. I go and look at the results. I find that the deformation is about 1/10 in this area. Then I look at the stresses. I find in here are the large stresses. Up here I have another display. You see that in this banded display, this element here supposes to have a large stress here, but the other element has another stress. On each side of the element you get stresses that are not getting real connected. If you look in this area, it's not so bad. The same colors are at the same area. The same problem here, it's not convergent. That's the easiest way to see where the elements are too large. The size of this stress is 103 megapascals. I can go and ask in this area, and I find really 4 different levels. Which one is okay, because in the first position we think it's all along this line the same stress. I can go and make a combination at the nodes. I choose node, apply, and you see now we have an averaging, and there these lines are on the same level, but you have completely different results. It's 82, or in this area much less than before. So be careful in areas like this. Here that's a singularity of form, because of this 90 degrees the stress should be here on this line the highest, and it's almost infinite high. That depends on the size of the element. So be careful. Now the largest numbers are in this area. That's completely wrong. What did I change? I changed here result. I made the averaging. I go back, non-averaging. Okay. I return and I make a revision of my mesh. I take a mesh C theta for a linear element, and I choose a size of 50 millimeters. He says he doesn't accept it. I say no, I will it. Now you see it's quite visible. The elements are quite bizarre. I let run the solution. I just check if I have the geometry checks none, and if I have the solver in this small thing, it doesn't matter, and I choose the parallel possibility. I let run the analysis. I look at the results. There's no problem with the deformation, oh, but it's about just 60-70% of the result before, so a difference of 30%. If I look at the stress level, the stress level is almost half. Almost half. So the consequence, elements of the type tetra 3 are for nothing. I just leave it. I go back, I remake the mesh, I choose a tetra 10 element, and I go down on the size of elements of 5. I've chosen the size myself. I get a lot more elements. I can control the number of elements with information, and I find here it's about 34,000 nodes. That means more than 100,000 unknowns to solve. I just let run the solve process. Also, this size of problem is really no problem for a computer today. Close also all the windows, and I find almost 1/10 of millimeter of deformation, so quite similar with the tetra 10 at the beginning. The stress is higher than before. You see the stress in this area here, he went up about 60%. It's different, it depends where you read it. So I change once more the type of averaging. I do averaging on nodes, and I see the largest stress is in the wrong area. With this averaging at a singularity, that's not really a good solution. I look at the display, and the display, once again I go back and I see, oh, there is not a good mesh size, because this bands, each element on each side of the element has a different proposition of a solution. Down here it's not no bad, but also here the convergence will be bad. That means here we get the solution with finer elements. In this singularity of form we don't get the convergence. Try to mesh this on a finer level and look at the results. That's all.